What's up, Everyday Blades? Man, I'm going to talk about something a little different today. I have not done a whole lot of fixed blades on this channel. And I ran across this knife, and this knife was a great example of why I don't make knives anymore. This knife, for the price and the quality, I can't touch it. I mean, I'll never be able to touch it. Now, I can see really high-end makers who make just unbelievably beautiful knives. That's a different market than I think I would ever be in, right? I invested a lot of money and a lot of time into knife making, and I enjoyed it. And if that's what you're getting into it for, that's the reason to get into it. Because as far as making fixed blades, to compete with something like this, be very tough. So this is the Lionsteel M4. This knife is a polished micarta scales, removable scales, M390 blade steel with a like a brushed satin finish on the blade. It has a crowned spine. It's crowned all the way. It's a full tang knife. It's crowned all the way around. It has a pommel on it. It has sharp, semi-sharp edges on it for striking a ferro rod. This is just a beautiful representation of a great working knife that's still beautiful. Now that's not where it stops. Look at the quality. This is another thing I struggle with. After I spent all the money to buy the materials to make the knife and all the hours to make it, I still didn't know how to make leather sheaths, right? I had to go contract that out, and when I did, the stuff I got back was less than stellar. I mean, I just couldn't put my name on it. I ended up not selling them. This is a beautiful sheath, handmade in Italy. Beautiful, beautiful leather sheath. The knife fits perfect in it, good and snug. I mean, it's just, this is a great knife all the way around. And I'm not traditionally a fixed blade guy. Like, if you're going to do heavy work, I absolutely see the benefit of using a fixed blade knife. I mean, this knife feels really good in your hand. The blade is 3.75 inches. And I don't remember what the handle is. The handle is 4 1/4. Total length, tip to tail, 8 inches. So not much different than a good size folding knife, but your folding knife is just not going to be that sturdy and that comfortable. This is for like a camp knife or something like that. Now, I envision this knife being a little bigger. So this knife might be a little small for like batoning or something like that, but you absolutely could do it. The only gripe I had with it was that it didn't come with a very sharp edge on it. I mean, it wouldn't even slice paper, to be honest with you. So I put it on my wicked edge, and it's got a screaming sharp edge on it now. I mean, it'll just shave hair right off. But man, this is a great representation of why I just, knife making, especially when you're first getting into it, the first year or two, it's a very long and tedious process. It's a very expensive process too. I mean, I bought the heat treat ovens. I bought the 72-inch grinder and all that stuff, and the belts are expensive. Materials are not cheap either. I mean, I have tons of handle materials in there. I'll still make a knife every now and then for me. Let me grab one I made. Well, this case is locked, but you guys have seen knives that I've made. They're not to this quality. Even after a year of making knives, I mean, I'm nowhere near this quality right here. I make decent knives. They look pretty good. They're stuff I carry. I mean, it's not ashamed to show anybody, but they're just not this nice. And $155, to be honest with you, between the knife and the sheath, I don't think it would cover my material cost. It definitely wouldn't cover my cost after you figure in all the hours that I put in. So when they mass produce a knife like this and really make a great knife, I mean, I mainly made carbon steels, was a 01 is the main steel that I use. Very easy to work with, great steel to use, but it's not rust resistant. I did one knife at M390. I had to purchase a dewar to carry liquid nitrogen in. I had to source liquid nitrogen. I had to do tons of research to figure out how to do heat treat and the cryo process, because any of those powdered steels or stainless steels, or most of them, require the cryo process, and it's an intensive process. I mean, and all that stuff is not cheap. A dewar is like $300, and then you got to go find somebody that'll sell you liquid nitrogen. It's all of it, and then the liquid nitrogen, you buy it and it evaporates. Even in the dewar, it only lasts a couple of weeks and it's gone. So you got to make some knives while you have it. Now, if I had a full time maybe to devote to making knives, possibly I might be able to compete. I couldn't compete with this, but I might be able to get to where I could, there's some people who just pick it up. I mean, they just start and they make beautiful knives right off the bat. I made decent knives right off the bat, but not anywhere the caliber of, like, I see the knives Jim Skelton makes. Seems like he just picked it up, and that guy can make some knives, man. He's got unique designs, and that's the person that's going to make it and does make it. I was just making standard knives like this, and trying to compete in that market as a custom knife maker. Good luck. But anyway, if you're doing it for enjoyment, it's great. If you're doing it setting out that I'm going to make money off this, it's going to be a tough time, especially if you don't have some really unique designs in mind, that people are going to want to buy. But hats off to Lionsteel, man. This is just a great knife. This is the M4. And they make this, I think, in a little smaller and a little bit larger. They make several variations of this. This is a great size, especially for like going deer hunting or something like that. I mean, that's going to the ranch. That's a great knife. It's got a lanyard loop on it. I love that polished micarta. But anyway, that's the dealio. That is the Lionsteel M4. If you're looking for a fixed blade knife and you don't know really what you want, you can't go wrong with that for $155. Guys, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Throw us a like. Throw us a dislike if you didn't like it. All of it helps. God bless you and your families. Say a prayer for our country. Good night.